Are they ready? Okay,
They're
go.
being quiet.
So those thumbs ups won't work, huh?
Right.
We're in trouble.
Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Teacher Casey, and I am here with Teacher Lucy and Teacher Nikki. Hey, ladies, how are you?
Hello, good.
Good.
Good. Super fun. We are here with a topic that I don't know anything about because I am not a Journeys teacher, but I have lots of people asking me questions about it. So I'm glad I have two veterans here that can tell us all about it. So can one of you tell us what these Journeys classes are?
Lucy, do you want to go?
Okay, Lucy, you've done this before.
You've done it before. Go for it.
So the Journeys classes are for some of our older students, like level 6 and 7. Maybe the upper level 5, but more it's level 6 and 7. And they go through a storybook, and it doesn't include the grammar, it doesn't include math. It is a more relaxed way of having class where we go through a book and we talk about the book, and they learn reading strategies and a lot of writing strategies. It's really heavily focused on writing. That's one of the things parents have been asking for. And it was a way to do writing by using the storybooks to help them with writing.
Okay. I think writing sometimes turns me away a little bit because, you know, sometimes I'm like, if they don't come prepared, then am I sitting there with nothing, or what do I do? So are the classes, you know, do they have examples and things that if the student doesn't come prepared, you're all set, or how does it work?
Yeah, I think they're really, really well set up for that because they have their task that they're supposed to be writing about, but then we go through piece by piece each thing that they're supposed to be doing for it. So like if they're supposed to have an introductory paragraph or an opening paragraph, we talk about what should be included in that, what a good one looks like. Then we work on theirs with them. So it's not so much saying, bring your writing to class and we'll look at it. We work on it together in class.
Oh, okay. So does VIPKid have good examples of good writing for us teachers to share with the students?
I think they're great examples, and they're actually from Lucy, I'm blanking on the name. What is the name of the program Journeys is from?
Is it Harcourt?
It's a Harcourt.
It's HMH. I don't remember what it stands for.
Mifflin.
Yeah, something like that. Harcourt Mifflin. It's a 3rd grade Journeys program that is used widely in the United States in schools. So a lot of teachers come already knowing the curriculum and the books that go with it. And then they have the writing that goes with it. And they do have really good writing samples where you pick apart the writing sample and you find the different parts that they need to put in their writing so that they have that example to go by. And then after you work with them in class, they finish it after class, upload it for the next class. You go over it again, then you do the lesson and you talk about the next part of the writing.
Great. So I think the biggest question has been, how do I get started, or how do I get invited? Can one of you tell us about that?
I don't know how they're deciding the invitations right now. I think it's kind of random. It is, if you're looking for it in the platform, it's under the supplemental courses and it says VIPKid Journeys. It's not a separate tab like I know some of them are. So it's under the supplemental tab.
Oh, okay.
How they decide, I don't know.
Right. You don't know.
I don't know how they decide who gets to be invited. I know that there is, I was told the last time it's a white list and names are just kind of put on there. Sometimes it's very random. Sometimes it might be these teachers have these teaching skills, and so they get put on the white list and it's sent out to those teachers. I'm not really sure of all the algorithm that goes with that.
Right.
It's called a white list.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to teach Journeys, I know in the support center, if you type in Journeys in the search bar, you can scroll down, I think towards the bottom, you can send in a ticket and ask to join Journeys, and they will put your name on a list.
Okay. I did see that. Is that the same thing as the prime Journeys, primetime Journeys?
Sort of.
Okay, because when I kept looking in support, everything Prime Journey or Prime Time kept
Yes.
coming up, and I'm like, is this the same?
Lucy, you have a really good explanation of that.
Well, Journeys is the course, it's the certification. Journeys, it's a curriculum, you teach it, you go through it with the students, and you love, love, love it. Primetime Journeys is a way to be booked for those courses. So it is with Journeys, but it's separate. It's simply a different way of being booked. Like we can be booked for classes by opening up slots on our bookings page. We can be booked by those 4-week booking requests or booking reservations. Primetime Journeys is another way of being booked. So you open up a Primetime Journeys tab on your bookings page. It's a separate tab. And you choose the spots you want. But just like the 4-week bookings or 8-week bookings, this is a blocked time period that you accept every single booking forever and ever and ever. Like forever. And basically, parents look at who are the Primetime Journeys teachers. Yeah. And they match a teacher with their child and they say, oh, I think this is a good teacher for my kid. I want to match with that teacher, and they select you as the teacher. And when they do that, because your time, your day, and your teaching style, maybe your tags match what the parent is looking for, they book you and you're booked for 8 weeks. And then when the next cycle comes up, you'll be booked for 10 weeks and 10 weeks and 10 weeks. And it's hard to break that cycle, which is the hard part.
So that's with the same student then, you're saying?
The same student.
Okay.
You get a regular student. They want, the good thing about this is with the Journeys classes, because the writing is every week you add to that writing. And every week you're building on what you learned the previous week. It's nice to have the same teacher over and over and over because you know what you've done together. And then when it comes to week 11 and 21 or something like that, you have a parent conference.
Oh, wow.
If you've had the student for 10 weeks, you know a lot about that student.
Right.
But if this is your first time having the student, you're like, so tell me, how have your classes been going? You're relying on the student to have the parent conference with the parent, basically.
Right. So let's check the chat box. Let's see. Marianne's here. Hey, Marianne, thanks for coming. And Stephanie and Jason and Meredith. So guys, if you have questions, looks like those that are here may already have a certification, but if anybody's like me and have no clue, put questions in the box, or even if you are a Journeys teacher, put questions in the box and we'll ask Lucy and Nikki. Let's see. Stephanie said we use Journeys at my school. So she used to use Journeys there. And I think, Stephanie, are you a VIPKid Journeys teacher as well? Jason said, I love teaching the Journeys classes. How many have you taught, Jason? And let's see, Marianne said there's a Primetime button and a Primetime Journeys button, Casey.
Yeah, it's very confusing, but yeah.
Primetime is
Primetime and there's together.
Yeah, Primetime is used for other courses. I've never used it for any other course, but I do know it's available for other, like some teachers have Primetime just for regular classes.
Oh.
So it's the same concept. It's another booking system. It's a different way of being booked. Primetime Journeys, you can only be booked for Journeys classes, and you're matched with the student forever, unless they decide I'm tired of Teacher Lucy. I'm going to choose someone different.
Never.
I was hoping for that.
I have one who seems to be switching teachers every 10 classes. So I got him for 11 through 20. And then he's like, I won't see you next time. And I'm thinking whoever has him for 21 is going to have a hard time doing the parent conference. But
oh, yeah.
Oh.
But
leave some good notes. Leave some good notes.
That's what I did. Yep. Exactly.
Oh, wow. I could see that being a benefit for doing 10 weeks with different teachers, not every other week, but 10 weeks and then 10 weeks.
Oh, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
I do too.
But that would be really hard for that teacher for the parent conference. Oh.
I do want people who maybe will listen later to know the parent conference is not as scary as it sounds. I was like, the first time I got one, I almost was iffy on even getting journeys because of it. And after the first time I did one, I was like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's 5 minutes at the beginning of class. It's not trying to fill an hour with the parents.
Right.
And
Do you have
so
like
far,
oops, sorry. Do you have like a checklist or some points, or are you making the points that you want? There's something.
there's a checklist, and realistically, I've only actually had 2 parent conferences where the parents showed up. So usually it's just the kids, and I'm telling them, tell your mom and dad how great you're doing. So it's pretty simple, but there's very, very detailed teacher tips on those that even if you have a brand new student, you can almost just read them and then kind of ask the student, how did you feel about that? How's your reading comprehension? Do you understand well? So you can walk through it that way pretty easily.
Have you been completing your writing assignments and uploading them to the portal?
Exactly.
And if the student says no, this is something you can work on
Mhm.
to improve our classes.
Oh, Lucy.
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
easy. The only one I had, or actually, I'm sorry, I've had 2 the parents came, but the first one I had, the mom spoke 0 English at all. So I was trying to tell her, oh, he's been doing so great. He learned this and this. And she's just kind of smiling at me like, I have no idea what you're saying. So then the students started translating something and they were both laughing hysterically. And so I'm like, I'm just going to leave notes and let them read it later because I don't know
It
what
was
he's
probably
saying.
like, Mom, you have no idea what she's saying, do you? No, I don't. This is great.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went. So it's really not as intimidating as it sounds.
Oh, let's see. Meredith said Zebra English does that. 6 months out bookings, but no parent conferences. Stephanie said, okay, this is a good question for you guys. She said, I got invited, but I'm scared to certify. And I've seen that a lot in the Facebook groups and things. What would you guys tell a teacher about being scared to certify? Maybe we should ask her, why are you scared to certify? What
Yeah,
bothers
that's my
you?
question.
Exactly. What are you afraid of?
The writing. I don't want to teach them the wrong way. My grammar is not that great.
It's not so much about grammar. I mean, it is, of course, about grammar to some degree, but if you can, adequately do 3rd grade grammar, you're okay.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
more about getting them to incorporate different things. Like for one example, one of their first assignments is including sensory details in their writing.
Okay.
So you go through and they say, okay, I want to talk about going to Disneyland. And you say, okay, what can you see there? What can you smell there? What can you taste there?
Oh,
And give
okay.
them ideas. So it's not high level writing, I wouldn't say. It's more the concepts of what to include.
Right.
It's making a more descriptive, a better piece of writing other than just, I went to Disney.
Mhm.
Tell me more.
Right.
And so really asking good questions is the key to having good writing.
Awesome. Lucy, did you make some videos for teachers this time for journeys?
Just a few.
1 or 2.
I love watching them. I'm like, I know her.
I don't even know how many.
There are a ton.
A ton.
Oh,
There
really?
were a lot. I did the entire certification, including the quiz that everyone says is way too hard, but I promise the answers are in the materials. I promise.
Hey, at least you're honest.
Yeah, all the example videos and everything. You must have been working on those forever.
It took 2 months to complete that certification.
Wow.
And they were like, can you do this? Can you add this one thing? Can you do this? And I was like,
Okay.
And then when we came to the speaking course, I did not do everything for the speaking course, but it was very similar. But it was like, okay, we need this next week.
No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure at all.
For those that don't know, when I first got started, of course, I watched all the YouTube videos, and then they're like, well, you can use back then we could use our tokens to book a mentor call and just do a check-in when I was new. And Lucy was my mentor, so that was fun.
Very cool.
She chose me. I don't know why, but I was so glad she did.
Hey, it was a good choice.
I know. I don't remember what exactly it was. Like, I can remember your profile. I can remember the barn, and I was like, oh, this is a cute, fun, and yeah. Anyway, back to journeys. Let's see. Jason said the story about the principal playing the kazoo on a unicycle always gets even the driest student to giggle.
It does, especially if you play a kazoo yourself or show video of people falling
Yes.
off a unicycle. They love
Yes.
that.
And that's one of the keys that I wanted to mention was just being that I've been able to do videos, and when they receive parent feedback,
Mhm.
or when the education department watches some classes, they will send feedback to my manager and say, hey, we need some videos about these specific things. And one of them was student engagement. And so when teachers get certified, they may be sent to other videos that you don't see in the certification center. It's like you could have more student engagement, or you could do more of this. And that was one of the things, was get the students involved, get them excited about reading, get them engaged in the classroom. And a lot of teachers felt like, oh, I don't need to use props. I don't need to use GIFs. I can just use everything on the screen is all I need. But parents are really looking for teachers to be excited about what they're teaching, and to
Right.
get the students excited about coming to the class.
Great.
Kazoos, playing a kazoo, showing a principal falling, or somebody falling off of a tricycle, putting on a crazy costume and saying, what if I was your principal? What would you think? You know, asking questions based on those engaging activities. That's important for our students.
Fun. Do you have a favorite topic in Journeys so far that you've taught, or story?
Nikki?
Well, I probably, just because I've taught it so many times, I have it almost memorized now, but I have a lot of kids that are at the beginning classes. So they're all in the education kind of realm right now.
Mhm.
But one of them is called Mrs. Pinkerville, You're Our Star. And that one is so much fun to teach, because it's just this crazy teacher who is a horrible, horrible singer.
Mhm.
And all
So
the kids
funny.
love her, but she's a terrible singer. And I am a terrible singer as well. So it's
do
a
you
lot of
sing?
fun. Oh yeah, I get the microphone out and I'm like singing the words that are in the actual story with the kids, like, so the kids just crack up. So I think that one's really fun because the kids get really into it.
Yeah.
And I really like the one that goes with it about the old schoolhouses.
Yes.
The one-room schoolhouse. So good, because it shows them a completely different way of school way back when. And showing pictures of that is so good. We have lots of good conversations based on that one.
I actually have a restored one-room schoolhouse in my town. So I love showing them pictures of when I've been there, and like kids on field trips in the one-room schoolhouse.
Fun. That's kind of what I was going to ask. Like, what do you do to make it exciting and interesting? So bring some pictures or look something up ahead of time.
Yeah, or for that one, I actually even got a copy of the reader that they use. So we talk about, they only had one school book. You show the kids this was their only school book, and they're like, what? How is that possible? So that's kind of fun.
That's cute. Let's see. Jason said, I have taught trials here and there, but I only have one regular student with Journeys. Oh, okay. And he said, it took me a while to get familiar with using the revisions tab. I still mess it up. I heard something about that in the Facebook group. What is the revisions tab?
That's for Lucy. Do you want to grab it? Do you want me to?
The revisions tab is where you go to look, and on is it the 10th lesson? They have finished a writing assignment, like a big writing assignment. It's every 5 lessons.
Every 5, so it's
5, 10, 15, 20.
Okay.
Every 5 lessons, they have a large writing assignment that they have been working on with you, piece by piece, and they upload it. And in the revisions tab, that assignment comes to you, and you actually write on their assignment, and you give corrections, you give things that the student did well, you tell them how they can improve it, if they had all the parts. So you're revising, you're helping edit, revise, give advice on their writing.
Okay.
And you
Cool.
get,
You're supposed to get
a
an
little
email.
incentive. You're supposed to get an email. I did not get an email, and therefore I missed the deadline by just a little bit and did not get the incentive. I was so upset.
Oh, you
Oh,
get an
man.
incentive every fifth one for filling the revision out?
Yeah.
If
you
the
do it in
student
time.
uploads it.
Yes.
Oh.
Mine have all uploaded so far. Even the
Wow.
student, I had a Tammy who never uploaded any of her assignments. She actually did upload that one.
Wow.
So I was kind of impressed.
Right?
Yeah, I just have a habit now of checking it every day after I'm done
Right.
teaching, make sure there's nothing there, because you do have some time to get the revision done. I can't
Okay.
It's
remember the
like
exact
48
time.
hours.
Yeah, so if you check every day, you're not going to miss.
Right.
Oh, good idea. Good tip.
I don't trust the email.
Well, I kept waiting for Tammy's because she didn't do the first one. And so when I got to lesson 10, I just knew that she wasn't going to do it. So I checked and checked and checked, nothing. I didn't check for a few days. I went back and checked, and there it was. So I don't even know how long it was sitting there. I gave the revision, sent it in, and I didn't get it. And so,
Wow, man.
whatever.
Darn it.
It's my fault. I didn't keep checking. So
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. So Stephanie said the parent conferences and the writing. She does that at work already, but not sure I want to do it for my side job. She's a brick and mortar teacher. How are they? Well, you said they're like 5 minutes, right? It's pretty
Yeah.
quick and pretty easy.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. You basically have like your points that you cover, here's how many reading skills we worked on. Here's how many writing skills. If they want to get into detail, they're all listed in the tips. So you can say, we worked on sensory details, exact words, opening paragraphs, closing paragraphs, all that. I don't find them difficult, and I was pretty nervous about them. So.
Right.
I've only had one parent conference, so I haven't had very many. And one of the things I did was I asked the student, so we learned about sensory details. Can you tell me what sensory details are? And then the student answered the question. I told mom she did a great job. She knows her sensory details, and had them in her assignment. Something like that. So it's just very simple. I like to involve the student in the parent conference by asking them a question and then saying, hey, mom, did you hear that? Because the parents don't always understand English. So by doing that, it kind of shows the parent that the student does understand and that they're doing a good job. You give a thumbs up, or I have I don't have it with me. It's a big great sign. So I'm like, great. You know, and the parents, they get it. When you give a great or a star, they're like, oh, good, good, good.
Yeah, that's kind of how the mom was. She was just smiling. She's like, I don't know what you're saying, but my son is excited and you look happy.
Exactly.
So.
You're not,
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, good. Everything's great.
Yeah. And I found it's easy too to ask the student, so what's your favorite story so far? What do you like about it? That tells the parents, hey, they're engaged, they're paying attention, they like the course. So that was helpful too.
The teacher and the student are having conversations.
That's
good.
Yeah, show that student output.
I'm sure someone somewhere will get a scary teacher parent conference, but so far they've been very easy.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we've had 24 people in here. Hey guys, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. I know in the Facebook groups there's been lots of questions, so feel free to ask them here so we can help more people on here. Let's see. Jason said, oh, he's back to his the story with the principal again. He said, I asked, does your principal do this too? They're like, no. And he put happy faces and laughing faces.
Yeah, that's a really fun one.
Is it? He said, I show a video of horrible auditions on American Idol for that one. I guess for the singing one you're talking about.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Oh, Stephanie, we've got Stephanie rethinking this now.
Remember, if you don't like it, you can always get rid of it. But I've got pretty much all the supplementals and all the levels up through 8. This is my favorite thing I've taught. I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I have, I think, 13 matched students now.
Wow.
And 16 slots. So some of them are taking 2 a week.
That's amazing.
And I love it. I mean, I would happily teach these like 90% of the time.
So how long are the classes?
They're an hour. Well, 58 minutes.
Yes. With that 10-minute break.
In the middle?
Yeah. Just like level 7, level 8.
I've only had that twice, and I've been certified for level 7 for a long time.
Oh.
And the 10 minutes, I'm always like,
That's time to go get more coffee. Check
Usually
Facebook
I'm
real
like,
quick.
yep. And they have a really nice loud alarm when there's only
Yes.
1 minute left. So you don't really miss it. You can be working
No.
on something and it will definitely get your attention.
oh, funny. Stephanie said, thank you. Awesome. I had another question. Can you guys think of some things that we need to let everybody know about journeys?
I think for me, the biggest point of confusion is scheduling and the primetime scheduling. And I wish I could say, oh, you'll get used to it. I'm still kind of confused by it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I work a really consistent schedule Monday through Friday. I almost never take days off. So I don't do any journeys primetime on the weekend to keep those flexible.
Okay.
So that way I can still have my weekends flexible. I still get journeys on the weekend if I open slots, but all my prime time, the ones that I see every single week, are midweek, just to keep kind of the weekend flexibility. If people have vacations coming up or anything, you just want to wait until you're back, honestly, to open them because
Right.
it's confusing.
Or plan very far in advance because it's divided into, is it quarters?
Yeah, I think so. It's like
I
10
think it's
weeks, so
quarters.
almost quarters. Yeah. Maybe it is quarters.
It is quarters
What?
for the vacation. They allow you to schedule 3 vacation days per quarter or per
Okay.
cycle. I'll just say cycle because I don't remember exactly how long it is. But like if you sign up for journeys right now, you cannot plan a scheduled day off until September. So
Right.
if you have your schedule blocked, I'm going on vacation in August and I don't want a class booked in August. And so you've blocked your schedule, but you sign up for Primetime Journey and you put a slot that you're available. It's saying you're available all the way through, even your break week, even the week that's blocked off. And that's what confuses teachers.
Mhm.
If your schedule is blocked, that is just saying, I'm going to take a vacation this week and I don't want to teach. It reminds me that I'm not going to teach. You can still open slots during that time. You can still get booking requests during that time. And if you have Primetime's Journey, you can still be booked during that time because they book the classes for you. You don't open them. They are booked for you. And they don't look and say, oh, she has a blocked day. I don't think I'll book it for her. It's just automatically booked unless you choose a day off and you schedule it in your Primetime's Journey tab.
Yeah, like I already scheduled the day after Thanksgiving off in November. Just know that way, if I have a kid for that Friday, they won't be able to book that day. But up until then, every Friday, I have the same kid at 3:00 in the morning. So
Oh, wow.
3:00 in the morning.
I'm at Pacific time, so I started like
I
midnight.
know.
I'm still processing it all. Can you see? I'm like,
I can see like,
Well, I know it's going to be weird because right now I've got some kids that are taking classes at like 11 p.m. and midnight my time, which is middle of the afternoon for them.
right.
So once they go back to school, I'm sure it's all going to shift again.
mhm.
Oh, yeah.
They can shift. We can't cancel the class. They can move
Right.
around as they need to.
Right.
Huh. Interesting. Jason said the extra dollar is nice. It took me a while to figure out why I was getting an extra dollar.
And there's no expiration date listed on that. It just
Not
says
yet.
currently
But it
an
could
extra
be
dollar.
removed at any time.
Right. Yeah. It could be
It's
tomorrow.
an
but
incentive and it could be removed at any time or changed.
good point.
Marianne said, thanks for the info. She's got to go walk her dog. Aw, I walked mine before and then I took him to daycare.
Smart. Mine is just glaring at me still. She's like, let's go.
I just want him to be social. We take him out everywhere, but he's not around a lot of dogs. But when he was at the rescue, he was in a foster home with tons of dogs.
Aw.
That's how mine was too.
Yeah, so I want him to be around other dogs because he just loves it. He like, instead of just wagging his tail, he wags his whole body when we walk in there. So I'm like, all right. So,
Here you go.
I know. It's so funny to go from an empty nest to having a puppy. I'm like, I think I'm having a toddler again. Stephanie wants to know what's the extra dollar for. I
For
think I
teaching
know
a
the
class.
answer to this. This is the revisions tab thing, right?
Nope. just for teaching a class.
You get
Thank you for
$1.
being a Journeys teacher. You get $1.
You get $1 for the hour of class. So it's sort of like 50 cents extra per half hour, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just an incentive.
Yeah.
Just like your tier incentives when you get incentives for teaching classes. It's just thank you for being a Journeys teacher. You get $1.
Okay. And then if
And
you do your revisions tab, you get an incentive.
Then you get an incentive.
that one, I assume it's the same for everyone. I'm not 100% sure, but for me, I know it's like $4.24. So I
Yes.
figure it's roughly equivalent to like half of a 25-minute slot,
Oh, okay.
approximately.
It's the
Probably your
same for
baseline.
everyone. It's $4.24 if you do it within a certain amount of time. If you miss the first deadline, it's $2.16 or
Oh, okay.
$2.12. And then if you miss the second deadline, it's $0, which is what I got.
I was gonna say, Teacher Lucy knows.
Darn it.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. Well, that's all the questions I have. I don't see any in the chat. Do you guys have anything else to add?
Trying to think what other questions I've seen a lot of.
I probably should have went back into the groups and found some questions, but
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest questions I see are really people are scared of the parent conference
Mhm.
and the scheduling, which I wish I had a better answer on, but it is
Yeah.
very confusing. That's all I can even say about the scheduling.
yeah.
One confusion is a lot of teachers think, oh, I have Journeys certification, but I don't have the Prime tab, so I can't get booked. But you actually can. You do not have to have Prime Time's Journeys in order to be booked for Journeys classes. You can be booked if you have an hour slot. It's just that you're not matched for 10 weeks with a student.
Okay.
You don't
So if
have
you
a
have-
matched student.
Yeah, if you have kids that I've got some that I see almost every week, but I just see them at kind of random times.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they're kids that couldn't commit to a 10-week schedule either because it doesn't work for everybody, you know.
Right.
Sense. Jason said he got the 0 too.
Oh, no.
We're in the 0 club.
Now I feel like I need to go check it today. Make
Everyone
sure there's
goes
nothing
to their computers to check.
right.
Revisions.
Ah.
Meredith and I have our own club. We're Team Replay Club. We miss everybody's lives, but we watch
Oh
them.
no.
That was a question somebody had in the group right before this. Actually, you are replaying this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I thought you
on
linked-
YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. So unless something happens and we've got to take it down, but
Okay.
yeah, we're good to go. So they can come back anytime. Speaking of that, if you guys have questions or comments, you can put them in the comments section below and I will reach out to Teacher Lucy and Nikki and ask them for answers because I have no clue.
Sounds good.
I think everyone should put in a ticket and say, when a revision is put under your revisions tab, put it with a dot. Just like when you get a new certification is
Oh.
available to you, there's a little
Mhm.
dot on your supplementary or whatever tab.
Yeah.
They should have a dot on the revisions tab,
That's a
letting
great
you know,
idea.
ding, 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 you have a new revision.
Yeah, that would help.
it out.
I bet it's just something they're not thinking of. So I think a ticket is a great idea to.
I just thought of it myself right now.
Yeah, I love that idea. That's a
Speaking
great
it as
one.
You got to watch coming up with these things on this channel, Lucy. You know that.
I know.
Yesterday, someone was like, "We have an announcement," and I haven't told anybody yet. I'm like, "Okay, bring it on."
Excellent.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea because people will notice the dot in the corner and not miss.
Well, you just get tired of checking if you only have one student and they haven't done it. And it's, it was for lesson 10 and now you're on lesson 13. You're figuring they're probably not going to, and suddenly it's there.
Right.
Oh, I see. So it's not something you have. Yeah, I see. You have to keep checking that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they have to upload it. So you're not really, I mean, it's whenever they decide to do it, they might do it 2 weeks later. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what happened.
Oh, no.
And I think what happened was I kept asking her about it. So did you finish that writing assessment yet, or that writing lesson? Because when you finish it, I would love to give you some comments and let you know how you can improve your writing, because we would love to help you with your writing. I mean, I just kept on and I quit looking.
Yeah.
because I just knew she wasn't going to.
That's funny.
But I bet you look all the time now.
Well, I don't have any Journey students that I have taught a revision lesson to anymore because I took myself out of prime time when daylight savings time started.
Mm.
Because my class was on a Sunday and it interfered with church. So I had to, that's the one I was like, oh, please don't let this child sign up again because I need to break this commitment. It was a huge mess, sending tickets, doing the live chat with VIPKid, and nothing was working. 3 weeks went by and I was not able to break that relationship. So when you do primetime journeys, make sure you can truly commit.
Wow, that's really good to know.
It's kind of a breakup letter if you want to stop teaching that student.
And she happened to break the commitment. She didn't sign up or didn't refill those classes in time. Someone else jumped in, took her spot, and immediately canceled the class. And I immediately took those slots down.
Oh, good job.
It was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, I watch carefully now. I don't have any I'm hoping to break, but if I need to change anything or actually one thing we didn't mention is if you have something set aside for prime time and it doesn't book or doesn't match on roughly midday Saturday, I'm not sure exactly when, it switches over and just opens for whatever.
Right.
So if you, like, for example, I have for the summer, I have spots open at 10 and 11 p.m. my time. For journeys, I'm okay with working those like 2 extra classes. If I got level 2 in those 4 slots, I would be crying because they're just so much more intense. And that would be like 14 or 16 classes back to back for me. No. So I make sure on Saturday I go in and after those convert to open classes, I just close them all before the booking time. So that way they don't get booked for MC. They can only be ever booked for journeys, but you do have to kind of stay on top of your schedule.
So what would you tell
Casey's like, what?
I know. Hopefully that made sense to somebody.
So I'm really glad you guys are here because like I said, I'm getting questions and I have no idea. So hopefully nobody minds. I fully admit to not knowing all things VIPKid. That's why I bring experts on.
That's perfect.
But I do have a question. So what would you say to, you can still hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just had something pop up. What would you say to teachers that are home for the summer, but will go back to like their brick and mortar teaching job or something? Should they not start prime time now?
Depends on what times they'll be available once school starts. So let's say they're going back and they want to do one at, I don't know, 5 or 6 in the morning before they go. If they know they're going to be available for that time, go ahead and open it.
Right.
I don't know what they're going to do when daylight savings time switches, though. That's going to be interesting because Beijing time doesn't switch.
Right.
So all of my students are going to switch to an hour earlier.
Right.
And so that was the problem I had.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you do have to do a lot more considering.
Right.
When am I going to be available? Am I available at this time, Beijing time, for a long period of time? Not my time, but Beijing time.
Okay.
So if your state is one of those states that changes time, be aware that you're going to be teaching an hour earlier or an hour later, depending on the time change.
But I would say if you're going back to school, if you know you're going to be available that time before, I think these would be a great one to teach before you go off to school personally, because it's higher level. The kids are doing most of the reading and stuff. You do have to keep them engaged, but you're not having to do like a show.
Right.
It's more just discussion and showing them, oh, this is cool. It goes with the lesson. It's a lot. I don't want to say lower energy. That's not quite the right word, but it's a lot less intensive.
It's a lot less edutainment.
Yeah. There you go.
But more conversational. It is a lot more conversational. You're not having them repeat a vocabulary word a million times in a million different ways with a million different props. You're having a conversation about a vocabulary word and repeating it within that conversation.
Yeah. Speaking of teachers, I think Jason's also a professor, I think. At a college you just took a new job, if I'm not mistaken. But he said he can't do prime time because his schedule changes too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
can
still
see
teach
that.
journey classes.
What's that?
But you can still teach journey classes.
Yes, he can still teach his principal on a unicycle with a kazoo.
Right.
That's pretty much all I've gotten.
And
That's
they
actually
did,
the trial lesson. So you
Yes.
get that one
Oh.
quite a bit. And there's only one trial, which is also really nice.
there's
Now
actually
there's
two
two.
trials now
Yeah.
because they just started the trial for Journeys 4, which is the
Sure.
next level up. And
Ah.
it's a 1-hour trial instead of a 30-minute trial or the 58-minute trial.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a full
But you don't
lesson.
have to learn like 18 trials for
No.
8 different levels and all that stuff. So
Nice.
Which is good.
Yeah, that makes it easier.
Another thing that I'm just going back to what I was I'm given this list by the education department. Another thing was making sure that teachers notice when there is a teacher read section. They really, really, really want the teachers to read those sections because the students need to hear a natural inflection and that natural tone and reading voice of a Native American speaker. And so they really want them to hear us reading, not because they can't read it, the students can't read it or anything like that, but they need to hear our expressive reading and to
Right.
hear a good model for them reading. And that really helps them. So really paying close attention to those teacher read pages. Usually there's a teacher with an open book, but not always. It's in the
Oh.
teacher tips.
Yeah.
But usually there's a teacher with an open book, and that means it's the teacher's turn to read.
Oh, okay.
it's kind of handy because some of the kids get really like, I want to read everything. So you
Yeah.
can circle the little teacher and like, nope, my turn. Sorry.
Exactly. Oh, yay, it's my turn to read.
Exactly.
Yay.
I actually
And
have
then-
one student who reads it after me and she tries to read it more expressively. So I'm like,
Oh,
it's kinda
wow.
like, it's like story
Okay.
time combined, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also good to ask them questions after you've read, and it helps ensure that they have good listening skills because they might be able to read every word on the page, but are
Right.
they understanding when you read it to them? What are their listening skills like? So it's really good for their listening skills also.
Mm-hmm. And what they do with that information once they get it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So there are a lot of comprehension questions as they go along.
Not really as part of the class, but you ask
Yeah.
a lot of comprehension questions as part of the discussion.
Right. There's a lot of conversation
Yeah. Well, I love
about
it.
what you read. I mean,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
Well,
it's so much fun. I love being able to have higher level conversations,
Mhm.
and I've always loved writing. So for me, it's really fun to take their, they come to class and go, my favorite place is my room. Okay, well, let's add to
Nice.
that. Why? I finally won by the time we got to the end was my favorite place is my bedroom because I can smell flowers out my window. And in the afternoon, the sun comes in and I can read a book and I can smell my grandma's cooking. And, you're just adding all those kinds of details.
cute.
So it's fun.
I feel bad. Lately, it's been like, well, have you been on an airplane? Do you travel? And if the kids are like 7, they're like, for 2 years we've been in lockdown. Like,
Yeah.
or whatever. No teacher, no one travels right now. And I'm like, true. Depending on the age, where have you been? China? Oh, good. Where in China?
The park up the street. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. What was at the park?
That's what a lot of them are doing right now. And I'm like, yeah, sorry.
Right.
Have you been
And
on
some
an
of those lower level students, you can't ask if you could travel, where would you like to go?
Right.
That's not,
Yeah.
they're not ready for that.
Right.
They just look at you. Sure. Yes.
Would you like to come to America and see Teacher Lucy?
Right.
Yeah. How would you get there?
Cute. Love it. All right. I think that's it. Thank you guys, everyone in the chat. I was going to name them off again, but I'm afraid I'll miss somebody. Thank you all for coming. And I'm glad Lucy and Nikki could come and talk
Thank
about
you.
journeys with us. Again, if you have questions, let me know and I will pass them along. Or there is a VIPKid Teacher Journeys Facebook group. Once they are part of Journeys, they can go in there, right?
Yeah. Or if you're curious about it too, are happy to answer questions and stuff. So
I'm
it's
in there. I didn't say it the whole time, but
okay, I thought you were. Yeah, it's VIPKid Journeys classes, not meetups, since VIPKid calls their meetups a journey. So
oh, gotcha. Yeah.
it's a little confusing, but
Right. Stephanie said that was a great informative chat. Thank you, ladies. Awesome, Stephanie.
Thanks.
We could help out. Hope we helped you with your decision.
Yeah, and didn't confuse you too much.
Yeah.
Right. The only thing I'm confused is the schedule, but it sounds like that's pretty much everybody, and I would have to see it to understand it, kind of thing.
Yes,
So
definitely.
and I've had it since January, and I'm honestly still a little confused. So.
Right. I know when I did like 3 workshops, they only 3, like this whole workshop 3 times, I think. And that was the biggest question. Even after going over the scheduling, when we get to the end, it's like, I have a question about scheduling. I have a question about prime time.
So wait,
Yes, okay, we'll go back.
right. You have Journeys workshops right now?
No,
Oh,
it was
in a
just for
workshop.
that. It was a one-time only workshop thing. And I haven't, it was right after I got all of those questions and comments from the education department. They were like, let's focus on these areas in the workshop. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
But that's where that workshop came from. And it was based on like parent concerns. Basically, it's parent concerns. If you get a workshop that's completely different or unexpected, sometimes that's what it's based on.
Yeah.
Or if you suddenly see new videos, these are parent concerns.
Yeah. Well, if you ever
Interesting.
have anything for us that we need to bring out to everybody, let me know. 'Cause that's how I
Okay.
learn about these things. Like the other day, Melissa was like, hey, we have a Superhost Summerfest. Can I come on your channel and tell everybody? I'm like, of course, yeah, let's share it. So yeah, if you guys ever have questions or topics we need on this channel, let me know and I will find someone that knows what they're talking about. So
Well, if you ever have one on Starlight groups or speaking course, I'm like on top of those right now.
well, I don't know anything about Starlight Group, and many people have asked me, so you're welcome to come back anytime for that one. I mean, you're welcome anytime, you know that. But
Oh,
and the speaking one, I'm trying to get some information together for Monday collaboration. I know you can't do Mondays, but
I
if
can
you
do
have any-
Mondays right now.
what's
It's
that?
not school time.
Ah,
Oh, well,
We don't
this
have
Monday
school
we're
this time.
talking about the speaking courses and the public speaking.
Oh,
Everyone's getting them like
and there are 2
confused and
different
asking
things.
questions, and I don't know. So Monday, everybody at 3 Eastern for our regular collaboration station. We're going to talk about the public speaking and the speaking courses. So yeah, if
perfect.
anybody wants to jump on here and share information, or if you want to come in the chat and ask questions.
I'll be asking
Cool.
questions because I'm curious. I'm very confused by those.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. One's about food. I'm like, bring it on. I can talk
Oh
food all day.
man, yeah, Western menu and going out to eat
Is it?
and
And
yes.
it just canceled this morning. I
Oh
was
no.
Oh no.
I think
Yeah.
there's one about making ice cream sundaes or pizzas or
Mhm.
something too. I'm like, man, the kids are
There's
gonna love those.
countries, there's hiking up Chumalonga Mountain, which is the Chinese or the actual name of Mount Everest. I didn't know that.
Oh,
nice.
I didn't either.
Chomalonga is the name of it. I
Oh,
didn't know that. Had no idea. I was like,
didn't
oh, I
either.
learned something. You
I love
know?
it.
Yeah. So I mean, great. But it's like it's the same thing. You know, this week I'm making more videos on speaking course because of parent concerns. So
yeah.
most of them are in every single course. It's always about engaging the student. So if I could just give advice to everyone on every course that you teach, no matter what it is,
Yeah.
engage the students, bring in props, bring in something to engage the students, have
Right.
conversations with the students. It's so higher order conversations are so important. Not just, do you want to climb Chomalonga? How do you say that again? It starts with a Q, so I keep wanting to say
Oh, yeah.
Chomalonga. Do you want to? But rather, you know, it asks what equipment do you need, and then ask questions like, why do you need spikes in those boots? What would happen if you had these kinds of boots? And bring in like rain slickers. Your feet would stay dry, but could you climb the mountain? You know, why? What would happen if you dropped your pickaxe?
Mhm.
Get them thinking. That's so important. So engage the students, get them thinking and speaking, and give rewards, even if the rewards are just stars and you tell them good job, or you put a sticker on your head or on the student, or use those chat box stickers.
Yeah.
Reward the students, let them know they're doing a good job. Give wait time in all of the courses. Give wait time.
And I
It's
find
awkward.
yeah, it can be. Yeah.
A minute for them to process from their language to our language, from our language to their
Yes.
language. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are just things that are like continuously coming up, and everything that I do, I keep getting these, make a video on this and make a video on this. It's the same thing over and
Right.
over for different courses. So
Oh, maybe I need to put one of those up here, Lucy.
parents' major concerns.
Right. Yeah. Hey, I would love that. Let's see. Okay, we've got some things in here. I've taught many of those, the speaking classes. I'm still on the fence with the speaking classes. I've had good and horrible classes. Come tell us about it, Jason. Jason, let me know if you want the Zoom link, because he's been on here before too. Stephanie, I have had a wonderful experience with them. I've taught like 20 now.
Wow.
There's one where the student asks the teacher what drink they want to order, but the picture looks like cocktails. You know, it's not as big of a deal to other cultures as it is here.
It's not.
And
No.
Jason said there's one where the monster looks like it's flipping you off. I need to go find that one now. Take a screenshot next time, Jason. Stephanie said, yes, I had a student who wouldn't speak, and by the end she was. I was just silly and got her laughing. Engagement is key.
It is.
Love it.
It is. I was in a workshop with another teacher, something completely different, VIPKid, but completely different.
Right.
And she said, if the teacher engages the student, if the teacher is engaging, and if the teacher is having fun, you can have a fun class. But if the teacher is straight-faced and is not enjoying themselves, the student is going to check out and not enjoy the class.
Yeah.
And so I've seen lots of teachers say, I had offline parent comments about ending the class early, or not enough engagement, or the teachers not having, I don't know the word to say that I want to say. They weren't expressive.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Very matter
they
of
just
fact.
weren't very expressive. And so they didn't engage the student. And these were parent comments offline, which affect you. You just want to be engaging. Don't be afraid to smile and have fun and bring in fun things into the classroom.
Right. Awesome.
That's my word
Yeah.
for the day.
Love it.
One thing I love with journeys is it's kind of easy to do because the level that they're at, you've got stuff around your house that will fit any of those
Yes.
classes.
Yeah.
Pretty
Oh,
much.
And they're old enough that you can say, they can say something like, I had one, we were talking about suspended bridges, and he thought suspended bridge was any bridge. Any bridge is a suspended bridge. And he was telling me about a bridge that connects Hong Kong, Macau, and some other city. It connects 3 cities. It's the longest bridge in the world, I think.
Yep.
But it is not a suspended bridge. It has artificial islands. We looked it up and we played a video in the middle of class because they're old enough. You can say, let me look that up. And during the break, you can show the video. I actually did it on OBS, so it was on a virtual camera.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, yeah, that bridge. And we looked at it and we talked about why it wasn't suspended. And because he was telling me about that, I understood that he didn't know what suspended really meant.
Right.
And I was able to bring in props and actually show and demonstrate suspension.
That's
Yeah, that
awesome.
break is handy. I look up stuff on the break all the time that I'll tell them, okay, when we get back, we'll look at that. And then we'll spend a
Yeah.
couple of minutes catching up on questions they had that I couldn't look up quickly enough. We get back after the break and I'm like, here's a picture of what we were talking about, or I found out more about it. So they love it.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, especially for someone like me that's afraid to leave their seat.
Oh yeah, I never ever.
I'll squirrel, like go do the laundry and then be like, oh, well, let me like clean this cabinet out.
Yeah, I'm way too scared. I'm like, I don't leave my desk because I'm like, I know I would get sidetracked or something.
Right.
I've only done it one time and I was 40 seconds late after the timer started or after the class had started again, and the students just there waiting. Fortunately, he's a regular, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, sorry about that. I got more coffee though. Aren't you happy I have coffee?"
There you go.
He was like, "Yes, Teacher Lucy, you need your coffee."
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Mine all say, "Do you have your coffee today?" Yes. Yes, I do.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, thanks for coming. Alexandra said the speaking course seems to be hit or miss. What 8-year-old wants to talk about universities? I did hear about that one in one of the Facebook groups. It seems like parents might choose the topics sometimes. Awkward. Other classes have been awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did hear about. I hear about that one was kind of tough, but I haven't taught
And
any.
for an 8-year-old, it might be because it's based on their MC level, not their age.
Oh, okay.
So if a student I have an 8-year-old who is going into level 7. So he's going to be taking the level 7 speaking courses. Those might be a little different or difficult, and they can only take the level they're in MC wise or one level below. That's it. They
So
can't
they
go
can pick
up
the
or
topic, but not completely.
yes, they get to pick a
Okay.
topic within their level or one level below. That's it.
Yeah. Now I could
Okay.
see parents wanting them, oh, but they're at this level and not understanding. Like once even with my own kids, I was like that until I became a teacher and was like,
Right.
just because they're at this level does not mean it's all, developmentally appropriate for them. Or, even some of the books, these kids are great readers, but you don't want this young kid reading these
Yeah.
tween type books,
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, that makes sense. I could see that. Paula said my student loved about the university because it was where Harry Potter was filmed. Sorry, Paula, you wrote it right. I just didn't hear it right. Awesome. Paula Alexandra, I don't think I've seen you on here before. Thanks for coming. Yeah, so we'll be having a chat about the speaking courses on Monday at 3 Eastern. Sorry, shameless plug again.
I'll be there. Thank you for mentioning it.
Yeah. I have it on my sticky note because during the summer I can do Mondays.
Okay,
just
so
not
I'll
during the
wait
school
till I
year.
send you the Zoom and
Yeah.
Jason, Stephanie, let me know if you guys want to come on Monday too. And of course, Monday Collaboration Station Group, you'll all get it too. So
I'd
awesome.
love to. I have the parents major concerns. I already got them ready.
I think that'll be great. So we can, it'll prepare everybody a little bit more. I think we'll all be ready for it. So excited. Great, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you two being here.